Hello, welcome. Today I have my top 10 recommendations of 2023. 10 products in roughly 10 minutes. Let's go. Hey guys, Matt here from MrLeica.com. Before we start, a huge thanks to my amazing patrons. Links below to more content. Okay, number one, in no particular order, if you're a 50mm lens fan, my favourite 50mm lens of 2023 is the Light Lens Lab Elcan 50mm f2. As you can see, I own two copies, both screw mount and M mount, and this lens is just brilliant. It's a really nice combination of sharp yet lots of character. Here you can see a few sample photos from this lens using it wide open, and it's sharp enough in the centre but then has really nice fall off at the edges, really nice for portraits. The main thing I love about this lens is also the size. If you've seen this channel before, you know I appreciate the more compact lenses. It's easier for when I'm travelling for overseas photo shoots. Here you can see the lens size next to the version 5 Summicron. I will have to do a comparison at some point. Next, number 2, the Voigtlander Helios 40mm f2.8. This lens is my go-to lens for walkabout when I want the smallest possible high quality lens setup. So as you can see, this is my kind of go-to lens for my Leica 1 standard camera, but it's also available in M mount as well as the LTM mount. All of these photos are shot on film, and despite the small size and really vintage camera, you can get some fantastic results from this lens. The 40mm focal length is a really nice kind of do-everything focal length, mostly for walkabout but portraits also. If you want something slightly longer, it also fits really nicely on the little CL to give you 60mm. Next, another tiny lens. This is the Voigtlander Color Scope R 28mm f2.8. This lens was actually released in 2023. Some of the others I only discovered in 2023. This lens is also available in M mount and screw mount, and I use it on both film cameras and digital cameras. Again, it pairs really nicely on the little CL, and it gives you again around a 40mm combination. There are different versions, so make sure you watch the full video before buying that lens. Okay, I think it's time for a bonus. So my bonus shout out is the TT Artisan 28mm f5.6. To me, this is the best made TT Artisan lens to date, and it's just so Leica-like, and it's just so small. Absolutely love it. Again, this lens is available in M mount and screw mount. I enjoy using the lens on my little Barnett cameras, but if you own the Voigtlander Beta R, for example, any film camera that's got a 35mm frame line, you can just use the entire viewfinder area to give you the 28mm equivalent coverage. So that works really well as a super small, compact and pretty affordable setup. Here you can see the size compared to a Leica Q, and what most people don't realise is an M camera with a small M lens is actually smaller than a Leica Q series camera, and to my mind a lot more enjoyable too. Given the chance, I would always use say a Leica M11 with small manual focus 28mm lens than the automated Leica Q, but that's just my taste. While we're on the topic of TT Artisan, one more honorary mention is the 50mm f0.95. This lens to me gives a similar look to my f1 Noctilux, and it also gives a similar-ish look to the Canon 50 0.95 Dream lens. Great lens. Okay, back to the list. Number 4. As you've already noticed, I enjoy small lenses, and one of the smallest lenses I use is the Light Lens Lab 35mm f2 8-element replica. This lens is available in screw mount, collapsible, which is the one I use as you can see here, but also M mount. If you use Canon rangefinder cameras, if you've got a camera like this, you can actually use a 35mm in-camera frame lines, and this means you don't need an additional finder. That said, the lens does come supplied with both a lens hood and a viewfinder. First of all, here's the lens hood, which allows you to both fit filters and it shows you your aperture. And then the viewfinder is just amazing. I'm so happy. I can use them on my M3 and on my Leica 3 cameras, and they're just so beautifully made, and it looks like it was designed for the camera, and it came on the camera made in like the 1950s, apart from maybe the writing on the side. Light Lens Lab now sell that viewfinder separately, and I've asked them to also list the hood separately, because that hood does fit many vintage 50mm lenses, such as the Summitage you can see here, the Sonar lenses, the Jupiter 8 lenses, the Canon 50 1.8, many lenses. To see how the Light Lens Lab compares to Leica Summicron lenses, I'll put a link in the description below. Next, something different, we're talking about flashes. I was an early adopter to the Godox brand when they first came to the UK shores many years ago. Until recently I was using the AD200, but it was a bit too big for travel. Welcome to the Godox AD100. It's got the same size like front light element, but it's like half the size. It's like the size of a bean can. Both lenses give you modelling lights, as you can see here, which makes it really easy. And unlike traditional speed lights where you're messing around with AA batteries, these lights come with high capacity lithium batteries, and they just go on and last like all day for one shoot. These lights are easy to mount, and you can also just stand them on their ends and up lights like that. They're better than the V1 because they don't overheat. One of my patrons, Toby, just upgraded from the V1s to the AD100s because they've got a built-in fan. Click my top 10 blog link linked below, and I'll link all related videos including using the Godox in the studio and on location. Next, another bonus I think, the Bowling BL-P1 LED light panel. The Bowling light panel continues to be my favourite LED light panel when I need a pop of light in low light situations. I love the size, the build quality and the pull out arm to ease mounting and setup. Here's the size compared to similar lights, and here's the effect of the LED lights when used in a photo shoot. Often I might be using lights and you don't even notice, as in this example. If you look carefully you can see the reflection, and then in many of my Patreon videos I explain how I use the lights. So here's some vintage footage from Poland, and I was using the lights even some years ago. For those of you that shoot colour, you can just dial in your colour temperature to match your available light, and you can use a USB-C power pack for extended use. For my next recommendation, let's talk about filters. So as I've been doing a lot more flash photography this year, one filter that I really appreciated is a variable ND filter. My recommended approach is to buy the filter size of your largest lens and then use step down rings to fit your smaller lenses. All you do is turn the filter to make it go from less dark to more dark, and it's just so easy to use and you get no extra vignetting, and I've not seen any color cast. I use the KNF Concept Slim Fader Nano X 77mm filter, and then let us say step rings. When it comes to storing my filters, I'm always on the go, so I've repurposed a Wotan Craft, I think it's classed as a coin pouch, as my lens case. Okay, next, another filter. One filter I continue to use in 2023 is the KNF Concept Black Mist filter. This filter takes the digital edge off your modern lenses and gives a more pleasing soft result, which is useful for my female portraits. Here you can see me using the filter on my Lumix 50mm 1.8 lens, which I guess I can give a shout out on its own. That's probably the best value autofocus lens for Leica L mounts, and with the filter attached I can get some really nice results. There you can see the speckling, which helps soften the image, and I use this lens so much I bought it again in a smaller copy so I can use the small one on my, say, smallest lenses, and then the big one with the step rings on my bigger lenses. Again, I've repurposed a Wotan Craft pouch for my filters. Talking of Wotan Craft, that brings me nicely onto my recommendation for photography backpacks, the Wotan Craft 18 litre pilot bag rucksack. This lens is waterproof, so it really suits the UK weather. It's big enough for my laptop, a small bag on the top, and even my Hasselblad. Wotan Craft have got some offers on for the festive season. Depending on how much you spend, if you buy bags you get some accessory pouches free. Here's one such accessory pouch, if I can say that. I think it's designed as like a toiletry bag, but I repurposed it, me being me, and so this is how I use their toilet bag. So in the top pouch I have a small light which I use as my secondary LED light for emergencies. That's made by Aperture. In the bottom pocket I use it for my spare batteries, so that's like my CL batteries, SL batteries. And then in the middle pouch, which is actually removable via Velcro, I keep all my important little bits and bobs which I take for all trips. Things like the small rig ball heads, they're really useful, card readers, pegs for pegging models' clothes, rubber bands for filters and holding stuff together, GoPro attachments, and this really useful Jobby mini tripod. So this tripod does multiple things. It's designed to hold phones, but you can actually unscrew the base and use the base straight onto your camera. Let's say you want to do self-timer shots and you just need a mini tripod. You're not going to get a tripod smaller than that to go in your pocket. You can then use various things between the base and the phone holder to give you more movement. And then you can use the phone holder to hold different things. So for example, I sometimes use the phone holder to hold lights. So some lights have no mount, such as the one I'm showing you here. So by attaching it to a phone holder, it's a really easy setup to quickly set up a light in a corner of a room or behind a model's head, and then pack it away, and it all fits literally into your pocket. For any fellow YouTubers watching, you can even use phone holders to hold GoPros. You just attach it via a ball head to the top of your light stand and you're good to go. Next, another camera bag. This is the Wotan Craft Pilot Bag series. If you've seen any of my videos, you know I've got these bags pretty much glued to my hip at all times. I use the small pouch when I'm using the smallest cameras and lenses, and then I use a 2 litre and 3.5 litre depending on what cameras I'm using on that day. Now, where things got exciting is they've just released leather bags in the same style as the canvas bags. I've always thought of myself as a canvas bag kind of guy, but these leather premium bags just give a much more kind of classy look, and I really like them. The main difference is the canvas bags are a modular design, so you can attach additional pouches to carry, say, more equipment. The leather bags are more minimal, and you've got a little kind of key pouch that goes on one side, but I tend to take that off to keep it as a sleeker looking bag. Both bags have got the same dimensions, both bags have the same quick one finger opening, both have the padded straps and quick release for height adjustment. Both bag designs also feature the zip pocket on the rear. If you've seen any of my recent videos, you may have spotted the leather bag when in conjunction with my backpack, and I use both the 2 litre and 3.5 litre depending on what cameras I'm carrying. The 3.5 litre is better for, say, an SL and a couple of big lenses, and the 2 litre is better for, say, an M camera with a small lens, or you can actually fit two probably M cameras with small lenses. So there you go, 2 cameras, 2 lenses in a tiny little high quality bag. I just love the size so much. For those looking for more broad recommendations from me, I've written a really detailed blog post, first link in the description below. That includes links to all mentioned products. Okay, finally, number 10. I've always wanted a smallest possible setup for lights, and I already use a small light stand, but I wanted something even smaller. I thought there had to be a more compact solution, ideally something shorter which would fit in multiple bags. What I found was using carbon fibre selfie sticks, which extend pretty far, and then you can stack them to get even more height, like 2 meters height. And then all you need is a small screw-on foot to use as like your base, and then the ball heads, which I've already mentioned, to give you angle adjustment for, say, your lighting. Now, the small foot's good for indoor, from, say, my LED light panel, but what about outside? For outdoor use, I needed a more robust and stable base, so I bought this tabletop tripod. You can use it extended like this to give you a little bit more height, or you can twist a collar, which then allows the legs to fold flat, which then allows me to put my camera bag on the feet of the legs, and that holds the tripod really steady and stops any lights from blowing over. There you can see my full mini tripod setup, and look at the size difference compared to my smallest possible light stand. Finally, you might be thinking, but Matt, I don't know what Leica camera to buy. You can either book a Zoom call with me, I can talk you through it, or click the first link below and there's links to more videos.